All right, are we alive?
I see a recording light.
I think we're good.
Look, we're recording and the music is up, and it is only like 8:06. That's like early for us. Good evening.
When he says us, he means him.
That's true. Good evening and welcome, or day, or whenever you're watching this podcast. Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of limit champ or lucky track dog league you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of amateur endurance racing, and whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough and Chrissy sees a farm animal, we're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Thank you for coming back to listening to a Formula One episode of our podcast. On this day in 1950, the first World Drivers' Championship was run at Silverstone. Which when you watch the Formula One show, you realize that everybody loves Silverstone. It was won by Italian Giuseppe Farina in an Alfa. It is episode 138. So if you're not driving a car, which you might actually be because America is emerging from coronation, but really you should just be listening to this in your basement while you're walking on the treadmill or something. But get your E1R bingo card out. It's not new, but it's still relevant, I think. Yes.
It's relevant.
Sure.
We didn't really add any of the Corona segments, but
no, because we will not dwell on the negativity of this
They don't have to be
period.
negative.
We will dwell on the positive that is emerging from it.
Sure.
Beautiful.
That's what you say.
Jeff, what you working on?
I'm working on changing my background to something more interesting. I've ran that. Oh, that's a good one. That'll freak you out all day. So in New Jersey, it's freezing freaking cold this weekend. Yeah, laugh it up, mental.
No, it's not.
Last weekend, it was cold.
It was, okay. It was cold. It's not going to be next weekend.
I know. I'm very excited.
I might be going somewhere closer to you.
But it is still spring, so I had to put on like my woolly sweatshirt and I couldn't do car work because it was too cold, and I had to like mow the lawn. And
Mental, how warm is it there? Sorry, Jeff.
We just had a cold front come through, so there was a little bit of a windstorm. So it only got up to 86 today.
I mean, that sounds gross.
It's so lovely because I went for a run and actually wore like a sleeved shirt. It was fantastic. Just a slight breeze. Oh,
okay,
great.
this was Jeff's. I'm sorry, I didn't.
It's all right.
I saw
40 something this weekend.
Yeah, pretty sure.
It
was Mother's Day.
Down to 72, if that helps.
That does help.
Doesn't help.
So it was Mother's Day, so I really only had Saturday. So I did a lot of yard work, lawn work. I like weeded. I know it's like all this thing that I never do. And I know you're here for tool reviews. Tyler, you like tools? Yeah, he likes tools.
You're on mute, but okay.
Here's the tool review. There you go. Here's the tool review.
I am a tool.
The Ryobi string trimmer, the 40-volt one, is a miracle of engineering. One battery will weed enough stuff to when it dies, I'm freaking done with weed whacking. I'm like, 20 minutes later, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. And it runs out. And I'm like, perfect. They have engineered this
as long as it
battery.
doesn't run out the same time every place, because then you're going to end up like with a
start at different places.
That's fine, as long as you're not just like going around the house the same way every time and then stop, and then you're like, crap, and then you just keep going the same way.
I own 2 batteries, but the other one is never charged. So one battery.
A cool little shelf.
That's true.
Who remembers these things? So
literally everyone else.
No, my real tools, that happens. My yard tools, I'm like, I literally found the string trimmer leaning against the side of the house where I left it like 3 weeks ago. And then said, oh, look, I'll trim. So anyway, shout out to Ryobi and Home Depot and whoever's out there, because your battery runs out just when I'm sick of it, and that's great.
I also have the Ryobi Yard Tool Universe. I've got a blower and a hedge trimmer.
Yeah, I have the blower and the string trimmer.
And I'll use one battery on the hedge trimmer, do all of the hedges around the front of the house, and then all the ones in the backyard, and then same battery on the blower, and it's enough to actually get everything done. It's great.
Cool.
You guys are so much more with the times than I am, because I have is still a 2-smoker.
Well, you know what? I got rid of my 2-smoker because I would pull the string like 10 times and then be like, nah, I really not that dedicated.
If it's that cold to begin with, and then you got to fight the machine or the equipment, yeah, I'd probably hang it up too.
Yeah.
Now my weed whacker is actually still a 2-smoker, but I just burned the bearing out on the lower shaft. I got to replace
That's a thing. Yeah, and that's no fun at all.
Bearings.
Right?
So anyway, I will say that Sunday was Mother's Day, and I spent it with my mother and my wife. So it was the first time that we broke the COVID and turned our 3-person dinner into a 7-person dinner. So it felt like progress.
Co-quarantining?
Well, I wouldn't say that because we haven't been co-quarantining at all. This was like the first time we hung out with them.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So now you're like all in the same
I guess.
place. Yeah. Not that you want to say that you are.
That was it. That's all I did.
Cool.
Is Chris going to join us?
No, I'm doing his.
Okay.
I hear something's running. Maybe he's vacuuming. I think.
Why don't you tell us what's going on in your house?
Wait. Oh, you is your refrigerator running?
It currently is. Yes.
You better go catch it.
Oh my gosh, I never heard that one before. You're funny. All right. So he is replacing the copper pipe. He is replacing the copper pipe that went to the fridge. It rotted away. Thankfully, I was sitting in the kitchen. I had just gotten home from a long day at work, and I came in, just dropped my computer at the table, started working, and I heard a hissing from the wall. Like normally, the water comes on and it kind of runs for a second for the ice maker. Different sound than that. And I walked over and I heard it from the other side of the room, in the den, which is on the other side of the wall. And I came back and I was like, that doesn't sound good. Didn't stop, just kind of hissing, constant hissing. So I walk around. I said, no, this is definitely coming from inside the wall. I walk upstairs and Chris is running a very important meeting.
It's coming from inside the wall.
It was, absolutely. So he's running in a very important meeting. And I was like, really? I was like, we have a problem. And he was like, not now. I was like, okay.
Shh, I'm in a meeting.
Yeah, I knew that.
The thing about it is so we're doing this on video, and the look she gave, every person involved in a long-term relationship knows that look. That do not bother me right now.
Sure.
Look.
I know to not bother him. But if something's hissing in the wall, I'm going to bother you. So then
Cobras!
I decide to go down to the basement, and there's water coming out of the lights. I run back upstairs and I said, there is a pipe that has burst and there's water in our basement. You better get going. And so he was like, I have to go. And so he runs downstairs. And so here I realized I don't actually know how to turn off the water to the house. He's like, why did you turn off the water? And I was like, I don't know how to do that.
Hey,
so
that's
now
not that easy.
No, I mean, you have to reach in a wall over on the other side of the house. And I was like, I would have never found that. So
I had to like, when I lived in Georgia, I had to go outside and I still have like the special
big T.
The big, yes. And I brought it with me because I'm like, the next time I need this, I'm not going to be able to run down to Home Depot for it. Yeah.
Yes. So yes. So I am filling in for him because he's trying to replace this pipe. So very fortunately, we found
he's literally doing it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the basement right now, so I can't show you him, but he's in the basement and he can hear everything we're saying, so I have to be nice. So,
not according to our Instagram story, you don't. Mrs. Write things on the whiteboard.
I do. It's true. I'll get to that. So I now know how to turn off the water. I now know that we have water in the basement, but we found out that it's the best of all possible ways. It is the water that goes from the hose parts under the sink that's right next to the fridge going to the fridge line. So now we just don't have water and ice in the fridge, but he's trying to fix that just so we can just be done with it. And then we had to take out every bit of booze we have because that's the booze cabinet. So we had to get to all of that wall. You have to take everything that's out.
Gee, what are you going to do with all the booze out?
I mean, I can't drink it all. It's all out there.
Oh, I believe in you.
Oh,
That's brutal. Like, see if I can cut in real quick.
Sure.
So I lived in Tuscaloosa. I went to the University of Alabama I was there for 5 years. And we so it was 2012, 2013. I was a junior, senior, but everyone was like freeze warnings. All of the landlords are yelling at us, get back, make sure your water's off or you're dripping the sinks and everything. Like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So we get back when it's actually going to be really cold. And the day of, we're not home for more than an hour. And it's raining through every faucet, hole in the ceiling, it cracked in the crawl space. I've been there. It's terrible.
Oh, ours was not nearly that bad, but could have been if I hadn't been sitting at the kitchen table and we hadn't been home. Like if we had been out or whatever and this happened, it would have been a lot worse.
There was a hurricane in ours
was
living
not
room.
that bad.
It was crazy. We're catching it with 55-gallon drums trying to hold the water, and then we realized we can't carry 50 gallons of water for dumb college kids.
Because no college kid has renter's insurance. No way.
No, not a chance.
Why would you do that?
Oh, then that went to, they were trying to sue us and all this other stuff. That was,
this might be the best "What You Working On" story that we've had from a guy we haven't even introduced yet.
Right?
Usually we're like, hey, Eric, what do you think about that? Because Eric Root is a guest like every other podcast, and he's like, no, I'm not talking. You haven't introduced me yet. I'm not talking.
Okay, well, I'll zoom through these other couple things. We actually did a lot of what you're working on. Chris worked a lot on the trailer. It's almost done. We put up the ceiling panels, and that's a 2-person job, so I was definitely a very good helper when I was helping him. When it was cold, we were in long pants and doubled up sweatshirts and stuff because it was cold here. But we added sheets of brand new whiteboard panels. We didn't mean for it to be a whiteboard, but it is a whiteboard. So it's just kind of panels, but they're all new. So we had to make our own new holes and measure and all that good stuff. But it is done. That's great.
The trailer is done.
No, the ceiling's done.
Okay, the ceiling is done. Okay.
Almost done. The 110 volt system is complete. The 12 volt is roughed in. Needs a battery mount and connections, and then we're gonna need to paint, and then it will be very closer to done. Still needs E-track. Still needs everything put back together. So it's not like things hung back up. So it's not done, but made a lot of progress after insulating and adding. Oh, there's water happening. That's great. It's not coming out of the wall. That's great too. Okay. Mental, you want to talk about what you're working on?
Certainly. A few months ago, I think I talked about that. The hot tub quit being a hot tub. It was just a tub. And I had to pull all the sides off of it. So this week I have been working on redoing the surround. It was just crappy shiplap. It had been there for a while, kind of compressed particle board, and I threw all that away. And with I got up early on Saturday, rented a U-Haul truck, went to Home Depot, got everything I needed. So all this week I've been rebuilding the surround of the hot tub. It's going to have a drink holder.
Hey, how's your pickup truck? Why isn't it working?
Because it's my pickup truck. We've been over this.
I know.
And again, I'm suffering from a case of while you're in theiritis. The bed of the truck looks wonderful though.
Good.
So I got the surround. I'm adding low voltage lighting all around it. There's going to be drink holders on the 2 sides. There'll be steps. So I've got all that framed out and structured. Now I'm just covering it. And then as soon as I get it all done, I'll take it all back off so I can stain it and polyurethane and coat it. While I'm doing all of that, because Facebook Marketplace has gotten annoyingly talented with their targeted marketing, I found it was not a great, but a good workbench, just a metal workbench to augment my office cubicle workbench that I'm building in the garage. And when I showed up to buy it, they only wanted $50 for it. She had 3 of them. They had a DJ school that they were right. So I said, well, how much you want?
School?
DJ school, because it was a talent company. They get cover bands and things like that, and they send people to casinos and parties.
Wow, I didn't know that's well, you're in Vegas. Yeah. I guess that's a thing.
And so they had a DJ school of how to, match the beats and keep the crowd dancing. And so these were left over from that. So I bought all 3 of them for $120.
Nice.
The metal on them is actually pretty good. It's the 2 shelves are weak. So while I was at Home Depot, I went ahead and got some additional wood. So I've been marking and cutting those will get stained in polyurethane as well. So that was a sweet score. And then just today I had grandiose plans, but Facebook Marketplace had a GoPro Hero 4, which matches my GoPro Hero 3, 4 extra batteries, 70 some odd accessories, and the girl wanted $50. So I got back about 20 minutes before we started. So yeah, so I've got like this cool new.
Does it work?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Here's the
Does it hold a charge?
What brand of meth was she on?
Did she know what she was selling?
They
I've been
just
wondering where
got
the filters are here.
Yeah, they'd gotten a GoPro 8 and none of the accessories from the 3s and the 4s work. So she's just getting rid of everything.
Yeah, but I would have spent $100 on that or more, and that would have been
honestly, with there's a lot of people trying to make money on Facebook Marketplace.
Sure.
A lot of other people that are like, don't just come buy this stupid thing. And it had been up for 50 minutes. I sent her an email, said, I'll take it. When can I come get it? And she's like, great. And did the same thing happened to me too yesterday. An engine hoist showed up on, or not an engine hoist, an engine stand showed up on Marketplace for $40. I said, I am leaving work in 30 minutes. I will be there. And here you are. Come on. Here's my address. It's fantastic. So I've had a very good Facebook.
What car did you put that in?
I completely disassembled it. So
I was going to say,
and when I rolled up in the Benz, she's like, wow, I've been selling a lot of tools. Her husband had passed away and she's getting ready to move. And he was a bit like, well, every one of us. So she's selling all of this stuff that she doesn't even know half of what it is. And she's like, well, you're the first one to roll up in a car this cool. I can hear Chris cringing, but I actually borrowed a set of wrenches and disassembled it, and it fit all in the trunk.
It won't fit. So I knew it wasn't going to fit. I was just wondering what you did, or you took the Tiguan or something, because that's a thing.
I took the Tiguan for the workbenches, and I still had to take those completely apart.
I'm not surprised at all.
The Tiguan wouldn't finish that one. So that's my week is making progress on a bunch of projects that I'm still not finished with, but a lot of sweet Facebook scores.
Cool.
So are we doing Chrissy? What are you working on now?
Yeah,
because
I work on
before.
No,
okay,
just give me so super quick. So when I wasn't helping with trailer, I was doing some housework around here, and today I spent today at work with a team sending 13,000 reusable fire-resistant masks to our districts. Next week I have to send 84,000 KN95s and 11,000 bottles of hand sanitizer. Yay. So that's what I'll be doing next Wednesday and Thursday. And tomorrow I'm going to make some safety videos.
Did you have an interesting commute today?
Yes, I did. I was like, what kind of barnyard animal are you talking about? Yes.
You're not going to mention what you posted on 422sucks.com?
I didn't realize you knew that. How do you know?
Because
he follows 422sucks.com.
That's funny. I actually did pull over to post this picture. Yes. So there was an emu in the center of 422 all day. So I was like, and it's in the middle of the suburbia, right? Okay, so we live in suburbia, and it's a 4-lane highway with a median that is grass. And by the time I rolled up was 2:45, probably about that, 2:45. And so I was like, oh, construction? Are you kidding me? I was so mad. Everything slowed down. I had Waze on in the new car because I took the new car today. So I was like, it says, oh, it's slowed down. And I'm like, well, this is whatever this is. So I start pulling up and I'm like, what's going on?
That giant turkey.
No, it's a big, it was a big bird. I don't know if it's an emu or an ostrich. But by the time I saw it, it was very tired. So I get on, so I take pictures. I pull over off the highway. I start to go post the picture, and I sent it to Chris, and I was like, definitely not construction, it's an emu. He's like, sure it's not an ostrich? I was like, I don't know how to tell them apart. It's a freaking big bird. So, and it wasn't Big Bird. So I pulled over and posted it, and then I realized that on 422 Sucks, it had 230 posts and 500 likes on this one post, and was like, yes, there's an emu out there. And here it's been out there since 9:30. Somebody said it's been running all day, and they couldn't. I think they didn't make it because I think they couldn't get him. They couldn't get him. Yeah.
So they gagged him. Is what you're saying.
Big Bird can't fly, is what you're saying.
No, it can't. And it kept running across the highway, and the people are like, "Why didn't you close the highway?" And you're just like, "Because they couldn't catch it." And I said my bigger question was, where did it come from? Like, where does an emu just get out and now it's running across the highway?
Premiering this fall on Netflix.
So
Emu King.
what this is show 138, and we have talked about 422 as being one of the worst, strangest roads that my wife commutes on it in a different direction than you do. And she was like,
I had to take it every time I come to visit.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I go in both directions.
We keep saying she keeps it's co-vacation right now. So she's like, how is it possible that there's a 4-car pileup on 422? Who's commuting to work?
Obviously idiots.
Today, an hour before the podcast, she goes, "Are you going to talk about the emu?" And I said, "The what?" Yeah. Chrissy took a picture of it and she shows it to me, and I'm like, "Yeah, we're talking about it now."
I forgot. By the time
How
I
do you
got home,
forget an emu?
I packed masks all day, and I come home to a work explosion, and I went for a run, and I forgot about the emu. So, so anyway, okay, there's the emu. So let's make this actual introduction. Tonight we are going to help you be a better racer and a better iRacer. The guest is I have no idea what you're showing here. Half of the Kingpin race team. Tyler Hoffman, you've already said a little bit of words, but we want to hear more about you. What you working on? Who are you? Give us an intro.
Well, hey, everybody. Tyler Hoffman here, based out of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a pro driver coach, and instructor, jack of all trades and a master of none. So not only do I get to work with a lot of great people, but I also get to drive a fair bit and get to dabble a lot of different things. So I get to work Primal Racing School is kind of my baby over at Atlanta Motorsports Park, where we use Radical SR1s as training cars. I'm also a big part of the driving club at Road Atlanta, which is a really, really cool program, which is very new, had a year old, as well as playing with some karts. And we've got Kingpin Racing, where we're competing in World Racing League, and excited that we're going to Daytona. As of right now, we're going to Daytona next month, so that's mega.
Hell yeah.
We'll see if that happens, but okay.
Hey, good vibes only, as Mental is saying.
Right, okay. Let's hope.
Lots of space to socially distance at Daytona. Lots.
Absolutely. If the beaches are open, why not?
Sure.
As well as, what else? A little bit of sim racing, a little bit of wrenching here and there. Got a small shop, a couple spec Miatas, a couple dirt track cars that we just beat on for fun.
And do I understand your social media correctly that you were some sort of indie sim racing business? Like you were putting together a bunch of rigs?
I did. So for some buddies, and primarily my dad came by and helped me with a big part of this, but like 7 years ago, my dad built me this badass PVC rig on the cheap for like $40. And now everybody's bought sim rigs and you can't find one anywhere. So a couple of the guys, Trevor Andresco, Pat Wilmot called me, and I think he was on the show with you guys.
Oh yeah, we know.
Yep.
And eventually I'm building another rig. And I was like, well, I might as well throw a couple more together for the other guys. So we just did 3 more, and I think that's going to be it for a while. I don't think demand's going to be back on the rise for a little bit.
So you just were putting it together for friends and family. It's not a business of any sort.
Not a business. No, I don't have time for that. But
Well, Mental, we're going to kick it to you now. You want to do the intros?
I've seen this badass sim rig before. Tyler was encumbered with his lovely roommate. Now he was living in a house in Marietta, and the dining room was the sim room. So that's where they had you could tell it was a dude's house. This was all dudes. I don't even know if they had toilet seats. None of them were down, and the sim was in the living room. They had 3 couches. It was fantastic. And then the basement was full of race cars. So go ahead.
We still have both. So right now, and that's why I'm building another rig to put at Shannon's, my lovely girlfriend, because she lives on the other side of our little town. So to keep one there and then to have the other one here. So that's why the second one came to fruition.
Is the second one for her, or is it for you when you're over there?
No, she loves to come to the races and hang out. She works for Porsche, and she used to work with Extreme, but she has no interest in driving.
Because we need 2 just for the same room, so we can both race.
They fight each other. Like if we do 2 races, one has to run in one, and one has to run in the other.
You just got to do the endurance races. Do the Nürburgring 24 that just happened a few weeks ago. Do all those.
Champ Car 23rd. Just saying.
There you go.
Chrissy, how many minutes does it take you to get too queasy in the VR?
Oh, it's not bad, except for the figure eights and it made me, because there were so many crashes and so many, that made me really sick. I'm getting better, but it's still sticking.
Right.
Okay, let's jump in here.
So let's jump in.
Go ahead.
Tyler's introduced himself. He's a great guy. We've actually done some racing together. We've done some traveling together. When I was down at the kart racing last year, he actually got me into the primal schools. So on occasion, I've done like just their very basic, here's how you don't die. And then when you get refined, you get moved up to Tyler and Pat and those guys. You are a former collegiate rugby player. And if I'm not mistaken, you majored in social media. You've got a degree, or you specialize in social media. You went through like the dozens of organizations. You've also worked for Porsche. You've been hired by Audi and McLaren and high-end car dealers in Atlanta for when somebody buys a car. You go to Atlanta Motorsports Park and teach them how not to end up on a YouTube video about entitled rich people who can't drive. And then the new country club model that they're doing at Road Atlanta, which I think is going to save Road Atlanta. It's great. So you teach with them. Am I missing anything else?
That's the bulk of it. Majored in marketing. Went back and forth between mechanical engineering and marketing, and then they had a small specialization on social.
There it is.
But the rest of that's accurate. And then I do a little bit of work with like Skip Barber and then some local partners like Torque Racewear, where we help guys get suits, and MCS, trying to get hooked up with some shocks, and got some small partners. But yeah, that's definitely the bulk of it.
Outstanding.
When I entered college
we're gonna jump right into it because you got to go. But yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
No, I was going to say, when I entered for my communications degree in 1991, they tried to get me to be a social media major. No, I'm kidding. There was no such.
No, there wasn't.
I'm a little older.
Last week we talked about ICQ. That's what that.
Thought about that.
There is no social media there.
I don't want to show my age because I have no idea what that is.
Oh no!
Mental, get us into the topic before we go to.
We just did. We're good. All right.
Did.
So this is the main topic, right? Sticking it right up front, so Tyler can come and go. Want to hear a little bit more about you. When did you start racing? What got you hooked? Why into racing?
Started racing when I was 7 years old. What got me hooked is, so every Father's Day, I grew up in Northern Virginia outside of DC, and every Father's Day we used to go to Budds Creek motocross. They had the big national every year, and I saw Ricky Carmichael on a supercross bike when I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and that was it. That's what got me hooked, and then started on BMX bikes, eventually transitioned into motocross. And then I was late to the kart world, just a little bit before mental, but I was late to the kart world and all of that. So I didn't actually, they say, as you age, you get a cage. So I started when I was 7, and it's kind of gone from there.
I like that one. I'd heard that.
You keep breaking enough stuff. I've got a broken sternum, dozen ribs.
I was going to say that means you're, it sounds bad from me to you. I'm sorry, but your balls are probably very large.
Or my brain's very small.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, all right. Just because motocross takes something special.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and my brother's actually looking at getting back into it now, which is cool. He's crazy. He's a wild one. He's definitely the younger brother.
So I know that you've been a coach in meet space and a coach in virtual space. Right seating, and we've all done some right seating. Like, how do you coach iRacing? Like sim? Like, give us the basics on that one.
It depends at what level you're working at, right? Where in the same way that in the car world or the real world, you got right seat coaching, you've got someone that knows they can drive the car, but they just need a little bit of lead follow, or they're fast and they're in race cars, and you're just doing data and video. You kind of have all of that. So new things like Discord, you can talk somebody through a lap while they're driving, just like you can on iRacing. Now your attention to detail and your level of communication skills has to be much better. You can't just be like, all right, go left now, because that doesn't work. It doesn't work in the real car. It's definitely not going to work on the sim. So there's a lot of ways you can communicate virtually now. And, this is something that I've kind of figured out. I've thought about the idea for probably the last 3-5 years. But when all this happened, it was like, all right, well, I'm not going to sit around and do nothing. So we kind of adapted to that. And then you can work all the way up into, Motec is completely compatible with iRacing. So some clients of mine were just doing data.
Wow. So they're sending you data files and you're just looking at it post race or post laps and giving them tips, just like you would if someone handed you their video card after a session and asked for advice.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it can be as simple as where they just need to see one lap. They've got it all kind of, they just can't put it together. They just need to see one lap and they see entry speed, apex speed, braking markers, and turn-in points. So you can show all that. If they can read the data themselves, it's even easier because you can just send them my file. If they don't necessarily have to read Motec, then they come back and they send me the file and then I'll go through it with them.
And show them the perfect lap that was inside their car anyway. They just hadn't ever put it together. By the way, there's no such thing as a perfect lap in my data, so don't bother looking.
It's a myth. It's not a real thing for anybody.
No.
All right, so I'll take Chris's question here. So you do the iRace coaching, and I gave you credit for this because you knocked about 10 seconds off of my time at Watkins Glen, and then I completely blew that opportunity literally in the first corner. But you also have several levels of coaching. You do a full arrive and drive experience right up with the Champ Car, and you've got other organizations. And you and I have even talked. You've got some clients that are on the level of you're doing diet and nutrition and exercise programs for this. So talk about, and at the end of this interview, we do want you to pimp all your stuff, and we've got your website linked in the show notes.
Awesome.
But talk about, and I know I just sent you a potential client, what spectrums that you have of clients.
So the idea is the spectrum is huge. It's everything from helping run and manage a teen school, which is a nonprofit called Drive Strong that we have at Atlanta Motorsports Park.
Very familiar. Good program.
It's fantastic. We've just went over 1,000 students. We do not push for numbers, anything like that. It's $299, $295. And 90% of the insurance companies will recognize it and discount it as time, 8 hours with an instructor. So it'll pay for itself in 2 years. And what we're teaching there is on the entry level is really, it's not a parallel parking accident as a parent that keeps you up at night. It's driving on the highway, doing 65, however fast, driving at night, being around people that maybe shouldn't be driving at night.
Rain,
those are the things
snow.
Yep. Absolutely. So
in Atlanta, giant object that just fell off the truck in front of you.
Emus.
Emus.
So that's a really, really base level. And then we go into the racing school. And then once you get through the racing school, if you want to move on over if you want to go wheel to wheel racing, we've got a couple Miatas that we run in Champ Car. And that's where we start you out. And then if you do well there and you don't tear anything up, then we'll move you up into, we'll go into WRL or AER. And that's really where we start to be, that's where we want to be competitive is WRL, AER. We're running a GT3 Club Sport in AER, a Group 5 car. And we basically took a street GT3 and then turned it into a race car with Cup car parts. So we're able to avoid the rebuild hours and everything on the powertrain, and then we run a GT4 and WRL, a GT4 Club Sport. So we kind of have.
You guys are both nodding. Those are Porsches, by the way, because that's what real racers have.
I don't know. My
I
car
have
is
more
pretty
Porsche
real.
parts in my truck than you had in your Boxster.
I believe that. I don't even know. Totally believe that.
Only because you saw the Boxster.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I like that one.
So the idea is we kind of have a ladder system, essentially, is what we do. And then there's a lot of our reoccurring clients, can't speak, clients, if they're local especially, I'll get them on a nutrition plan. So a young man that I worked with really, really struggled with the heat in the car. One of a nonprofit that's close to us is UMDF, United Mitochondrial Disorder Foundation. And basically, if we can our bodies are able to turn simple carbs into sweat or into ways for us to cool ourselves down, where his body isn't able to do that. So we had to really isolate nutrition and diet and training. And we do about 100 miles a week on a bike. If we're not on a road bike, then we're in the woods on mountain bikes and everything else. Just doing what we can to be fit and trying to do the right things first.
Wow, that's awesome.
That is awesome. I remember because you and I converted a racing go-kart into an all-hand operated cart using parts that we found at Home Depot because the hand controls didn't show up. And Tyler actually worked with 4 wheelchair athletes at this karting race. And even with the modifications we did, because one of them was a riveter that we had taped onto the steering wheel. That was a throttle, and we could only get about 80% throttle with a bicycle cable. I forget what we used for the brakes, but it was another pinchy spring-loaded tool. And you guys still didn't finish last. You could only get 80% throttle, and they were managing to get all the way around there. So I know you do some cool stuff. I'm going to ask, you've got a full spectrum of knowledge. Somebody's listening to this show. They're looking to start going there, but one thing they could do right now, one very simple thing they could do right now, is start getting faster on track.
Study video. That's a very open-ended question, but study video, learn about the cars. With some of my education, I bounce back and forth between mechanical engineering and marketing because everyone told me I should do marketing because of my personality or whatever. It'd be good for the business sense, but whereas I really wanted to study mechanical. And then I went back and forth so many times, long story short. But basically, it was like, all right, I got to make a decision, get the hell out of here. So it was like, let's finish business and move. But understanding how a vehicle works and how a tire works, because, you can only drive to the limit of the tire. No matter how fast the car is, if the tire can't hold the grip, then it's useless. So just knowing the vehicle, understanding how suspension works, if it could be a great car, but if the tire pressures are at 55 PSI, it's not going to do you any good.
Yeah.
We've had long conversations about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Chris has joined us. So
Chris has joined us.
Hello.
Hello.
I finally fixed the water leak in the house. That was nice. That went from this is going to be really, really terrible to now it's 4 hours later and it's fixed. Well, except I have a giant hole in the ceiling of the drywall in the basement that I still have to fix, but that's the basement ceiling.
That's tomorrow Chris's problem.
Exactly.
Next week, Chris.
Or if that, yes, some other time. Okay, so this is kind of a load of a question, but how do you see iRacing as relating to actual racing? There's a lot of people that say it doesn't, or it's great to learn a new track, but what do you see as the given benefits rather than the only thing that we have to do right now because we are all stuck inside?
Yeah, so this has been a very controversial topic, especially amongst my close team of friends.
Yes, and we're going to pin you down and make you make a very hard decision, and then we're going to tweet everyone about your answers.
That's fine. So I think iRacing is great if you have the mindset for it and the patience. If you don't have the mindset to get in the car and to spend 2 laps putting heat in the tires and putting heat in the brakes, if you want to go out there and just rip it out of pit lane, then play Gran Turismo or Forza or something that's a little bit more forgiving. If you want to actually learn some tracks, which I think is the best thing about iRacing, because you can spend 2 days trying to either dial suspension and or learn the track and figure out where you're going. Whereas with the sim, you get there, you already know where you're going. And you already know what suspension changes are going to go in the right direction. And you're going to have to refine it, obviously. But I would say it's kind of preparation, learn the track, a little bit about suspension, and then really the biggest thing is mindset. So all of these races, I've ended up I think I'm in 11 or 12 different iRacing leagues now. So my Discord's been blowing up this whole time with people trying to get into this other race from qualifying. But because the whole thing's blown up, you can typically podium and be 2 seconds off the pace. Well, you can top 10 and be 2 seconds off the pace. If you're within half a second, you can still get on the podium just by beating away and hitting that same lap time every time. Because there's a ton of carnage, because there's a bunch of people that just want to hit reset and they don't care.
Fact.
Yeah.
Is that a good answer for your loaded question?
That's a good answer.
It's a good answer. Yeah, it's non-controversial. You stayed safe, not controversial.
I would say that we are all moderately newer to the sim racing world, and I don't think maybe Mental is the only one here who simmed a track and then went to a track for the first time. That's the big thing that Mental hasn't either. So
I've only been doing this. I've been doing this since end of March.
Yeah, I cannot get the iRacing thing to work for me yet. I've literally just started, and the tire model, like I'm constantly looking for grip. I'm constantly too fast. I'm constantly overshooting and things because the butt odometer is not working. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I'm still trying to fix that for myself. But I know for a fact that I learned Sonoma the other day, a track that I've never been on. And now, like, when I see videos, I know I understand it better. Now, do I know car setup? Am I going to be, I don't know that. But I know for a fact that if I went to Sonoma in Meat World right now, I would be in a better position. So I tremendously agree that there's something there in sim racing. And, people are arguing it's at a Corsa versus iRacing and, blah, blah. Who the hell even owns that program? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I made this analogy with another instructor, and he hates iRacing. And really, a big part of it is having the right software, having the right hardware, having the right monitor. If you're not already on VR,
I don't have that.
If you don't have like a 144 hertz monitor, then there's gonna be a 2 millisecond lag time to everything. My brother is a computer nerd and builds our computers, so I lucked out on that one because I know nothing about that kind of stuff. I struggled to get Zoom to work today, right? So
ended up at a Boy Scout meeting. Don't know how that happened. I don't know.
Here's your new camp counselor, Mr. Hoffman.
That's right.
But no, so basically my brother, like, I couldn't get anything to work for crap. And then my brother came in and messed with it for about 2.5 hours. And I was a second faster, car felt better. There's definitely a big argument to having everything dialed in the same way that you do in a car. So there is their own, its own side of development and engineering just to the computer stuff, which I think is often what's overlooked.
Awesome. I know that. Do we do the last question here? I don't know if it's where we're at. I don't know if Chris wants to jump in.
Go for it.
This right now we're in COVID time, and that's iRacing is exploding right now because it's the only way. I mean, NASCAR's doing it. Every single group out there has their iRacing thing. You can't find rigs. The price of wheels and things has just shot up. So with this explosion of home rigs and the legitimization of sim racing in general, and you're even like getting paid to coach people. I assume you're getting paid because you're a professional coach.
You got to pay the bills.
Yeah. Do you see this changing the world of coaching in the future? Like, are we going to stop getting in the right seat? Like, we've talked in this show about how right seat is maybe not the future of coaching because it's dangerous.
Absolutely.
You add the fact that you might catch a disease by sitting next to someone. Is this the new world?
That's a great question. Nobody knows that answer. That's something I've been doing a lot of research and making a lot of phone calls with, because SCCA Track Nights of America is at AMP right now, and they've got a decent turnout. Chin was just there the weekend prior, and they were sold out. So I know we're doing a private test at Road Atlanta next week, and it's nobody, it's limited on what we can do. I don't even know if I can go into detail on that one, but there
are social distancing rules in place that probably prevent you from sitting next to them.
Absolutely. Some places, yes, or as other places, I won't name names here, but there's other organizations that are up and running that basically if the student wants the instructor to get in the right seat, then that is expected of them to do so. So I don't know. I don't have that answer. I'm excited to find out. I think there's a lot of good ways with even you can distance yourself and not have to make hand motions by using in-car communicators and talking through your helmet, whereas that can eliminate some of it. Windows down. There's ways that there's more than just right seat coaching for in-car education, if you catch what I mean. And lead follow is a great option. I think that'll be the most heavily utilized development from all of this. I think
you were a part of the grid life experiment when the beginners group, no one got into a car. We all just went to a corner with a radio and a notepad.
Yep, that's what we do with Skip Barber. Skip Barber's, that's a big one for them.
Because of Chris?
I only crashed that Formula Dodge once.
Only once?
We still have
That's
the
good.
nose cone in
Only
our
once.
garage. So
Well, he paid for it.
At least they let you keep it. 'Cause I know some organizations, you wreck it and they're like, we're still going to keep it. So I don't, it's an effective way, but they've got to kind of, to coach at that level, you kind of have to already be there, right? Whereas, do you think if you had somebody in the right seat with you, you would have, and not that there was one, but you probably wouldn't have wrecked the car from corner coaching, right?
He was young.
he might have still.
He was
All
young.
right.
For those
I
of
was
you
like-
listening to the podcast, Chris shrugged his shoulders instead of
Yeah.
actually talking on the microphone.
Well, put it this way. I was 19. We're at Lime Rock and coming up the uphill, and I put 2 wheels off on the left, just barely, but I had yet to learn the lesson that I was about to learn that I never forgot, is when you're coming on, come on very, very gradually. Like I came back a little too aggressively. The front tires caught, the back tires didn't, looped it around, backed into the tire wall at 80. Now I'm very careful on my re-entry from any wheels off.
That's how you learn.
Yeah.
And I think maybe a more quantifiable way to answer some of these questions is you'll see, I think we'll begin to see, as you work up to 30, 40%, almost like a track tour kind of deal, you may see some right seat instruction. And then as you get into the 40 to 70 to 80% range, you might see lead follow. And then after that, it'll be data and video. So I think we'll see more segmented styles of coaching moving forward.
That's great. I know that we have had great moments just within our team, watching each other's videos and talking about things, and we don't have data. We don't really.
We do. We just don't
We
look
do?
at it very often. We have
Well,
a cursory race.
We have lap data, but we don't have segment data, which is really what we would need to do good coaching.
I've got every section. Like, it's
Yeah,
all
we
there.
do.
I've
We
got-
do
We're still
especially-
learning.
At
It's all
HPDs, we
there.
do them.
Oh,
Yeah. I can overlay your data right over mine, and we can see exactly where it is, and it's all there.
why have I never seen this? I'm joking.
We've talked about it at the track.
I don't know. I was too drunk, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, we can. We will someday.
We will.
Well, we need to do more of that. How about I say that?
Okay, fair enough.
There we go.
Good.
Time's on the clock, people. Let's question.
Yeah, I was going to
I
say,
know.
I've been
Mental.
looking for a text where I kind of need to roll, but it hasn't come through yet, so I'm good.
Mental, why don't
Right.
you help pimp these?
No. Chris has got a couple questions, and then when he gets
I
a text, he'll pep his social media. And
I do.
Yeah.
I'm so lost because I got here so late. So wherever we are, just go
last
for
2 questions at the bottom of main topic.
it. What's the best thing for someone to do with their sim? What is he supposed to say to that? Racing.
Use it.
Use it.
Right.
Eh,
What kind of question is that?
do the last one.
Mental wrote the questions, obviously.
Yeah. So outside of the obvious, like use your damn sim, how can someone who wants to be faster physically help themselves during the non-racing vacation?
Run. Get a bicycle, a Peloton, which is, you're talking about using the sim. Don't let your Peloton turn into a clothing rack or whatever. Get out and do cardio. And if God forbid you end up with coronavirus, from my understanding, the one thing that will mitigate that and kill it is running. So getting your heart rate up and using your respiratory system. So cardio is everything. And if you really want to get after it, go do cardio and then get on the sim and try to run, because that's how you're going to feel in the car after 30, 60 minutes, depending on what kind of shape you're in.
I like that.
So you just gave me a reason for me to tell my wife, no, I need to leave it hooked up, because after I work out, I have to get on.
That's right.
Tyler told me.
It's true.
No,
She can
we're not
me.
playing Fortnite tonight. We're leaving the steering wheel connected.
That's big money information right there.
That's right.
It is.
Big money information right there. What else do we got for Tyler? I'm gonna.
I just wanted to say
bail out.
thanks to Tyler, because this has been really cool. We bust on Mental all the time for dropping names, and he drops your name constantly, and we're always like, we've never really met Tyler.
Yeah, no,
It's
and
like-
we've talked like in passing about coming on, and it just it hasn't worked out or whatever. But it's a lot of fun. I want to try to do this with you guys a little bit more often. If you need a filler, you can call me, and we can talk nonsense.
Well, look, I'll let you on as long as you let me in one of those radicals down there.
I know a guy.
Good luck with that.
You bring your friend Visa or American Express.
This is preferred.
Or first child.
Yeah.
Or
first child is good because he's 9 and he's just
11.
10, 11, and he can
One of
mow
those
the lawn.
numbers.
Mental math.
Point being is he's got his first born and he'll actually be helpful around the house.
That'd be good. And someone to sweep up and keep the trash.
So Tyler, are those like medals behind you that you've won, like actually racing?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
see the AER things. We know what they look like. But...
Yeah. Those are all from karting. And most of my trophies aren't in here, but we've got some plaques and some old plates from when I was a kid. The mini we ran in 2016. Should probably look at the camera and point you guys around. I got some other stuff and just some more memorabilia and stuff we've won over the years.
Cowboy hat. Now I know you hang out with Mental.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. There's 2 more here, the Alabama flags.
Yeah,
So.
for those of you listening on just the podcast, I'd just like to remind you this will be on YouTube. So if you want to see Tyler's sad room, it kind of looks like a dorm room, but that's what you do.
We're in between houses right now. Right now, we've got an apartment and a house. So we were trying to buy a house and move all our crap into one location.
Got it. Well, we wish you luck with that. Don't have your refrigerator exploding. Why don't you pip your social media or talk about your company?
Yeah, please follow me. You can follow me at T-Hoff Racing on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook. You can I don't have a fan page. I've just tried to keep it real. So just add me, Tyler Hoffman, in Atlanta, Georgia. My website is Tyler Hoffman Racing. If you want to reach me directly, Instagram's best. That's what I check the most. Or you can email me at tylerhoffmanracing@gmail.com.
We do have a link to your website on our show notes, and and if you're looking for him specifically, go to our Instagram because we follow him, and in fact, we've already exchanged a couple of Instagram stories while we were doing the show, so that was good.
Awesome. We know you have to check out of here, but feel free to hang out as long as you can because we are now entering news and notes. This is a high-tech show, Tyler.
On board.
Don't need it.
It would be, yeah.
So I don't know if you know this, but you can get a brand new Corvette directly from General Motors for 0% at 72 months. That's right. They will finance your Corvette without making you pay a single penny. The only problem of interest, yes, you actually have to pay for the car. The only problem is that's a C7, not a C8. We've discussed this. There was a lot of orders for those last C7s, and due to striking and all this other stuff that happened, man, they kept cranking out those C7s a lot longer than they expected. So Jack Brewer over at Haggerty makes a few points. It's the last one you can get with a manual, which is actually a good one. It's the last of its kind, front engine. So I guess that's important. It can be had for less than a full-fledged every option Honda Odyssey. So I think that's a good thing. It's also a great track car. I mean, if you're going to go to get a track car, why not a front engine C7? The downside is there's all those guys with New Balances and white pants and high-waisted jeans.
Jorts.
No.
And they all drive the same exact thing going, oh, you like your Corvette? I like my Corvette. What kind of
flip-flops.
Yeah, that's right.
I actually I was intrigued by this article, so I started poking around on GM's website. You can find a manual transmission Corvette finger quote base model for I think the cheapest I found was $53,200, and they were offering $3,000 incentive in cash back.
And they're not selling anything right now. So you walk into that dealership and they are going to be
Can I have one for $5?
knocking themselves over.
Sure.
Well,
I got about $350.
Yeah. Well, and we also spoke about the lack of purchasers for the C7 when the C8 was announced.
Mhm.
Everybody was waiting. It's mid-engine. You know what I mean? So, hey, they're
Except
out
for
there.
the
Go get them.
5 old guys are
Except for the 5 old guys. But they're buying the automatics. So
Don't care.
there it is. Who else got a story?
On the subject of the new Corvette, it won't be running Le Mans this year. Super sad. Along with Porsche, who backed out of the iconic event, Corvette Racing has withdrawn, citing concern over COVID and logistical challenges presented by the rescheduling of the event this fall. Don't we know it? Hello, right?
God.
Mess up everybody's schedule. This means, well, not that I want to go to France right now, so there's that. But this means only Aston and Ferrari among the original factory-backed GTE Pro entries. So we'll see who actually shows up in September, and if it's running, hopefully there's some cars there. And
At this rate, should we bring the Honda?
maybe so.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they
No,
might take
this is a
us.
high-tech race. Bring the NSX.
No kidding.
No.
No, because the NSX people
No.
would expect to win. And the thing is, if we brought the Honda, this is fact, we would not be last. And
Probably.
somebody,
Correct.
some pro driver would have to go back to their team and explain how they got beat by a 20-year-old Honda with a Godzilla sticking out of its roof.
20. You're giving it credit.
The only reason you would win is other people would break.
I'm
Yes.
sure. Yes.
Duh.
Duh.
Anyway, so, enough about that.
Okay.
Tomorrow is the next Lemons iRace, and for this week's stunt liver, it's Dr. Florida Mandani stepping up. The rules are the same. Make any donation to a real charity, screenshot it, message it to Randy Bish, or post it on one of the Facebook things, and Donnie will take a shot for the race for every single donation made. If you don't do social media, email that screenshot to us here at everyonracers@gmail.com, and we'll get it to Randy. Donnie thinks this effort can break $2,000 this week with your support. Dr. Florida Man is supporting Lemons of Love and Ranger Road. Ranger works with disabled veterans by getting them involved in adventure sports like scuba, MMA, skydiving, and racing, among the literal dozen programs they offer. They also have no salaried employees, so 100% of donations go to fund the efforts. So that's great. So a link is going to be in our show notes along with some video of them racing. Make Donnie just hate himself the next morning.
I see now. Here's
More
the
than
deal.
usual.
Here's the deal. Mental drank a shot for everyone who donated at the last iRace, or was that
Yep.
2 races ago? 2 races ago, because they didn't have anybody last race, I think.
They didn't really have anything set up beforehand because they were announcing the new season.
I didn't donate because I wanted to be nice to Mental.
Oh,
See-
come on.
Oh, we
See,
did.
but now I'm like, well, Donnie, I don't like nearly as much as I like Mental.
You should like him more. He's a better person, but okay.
So he likes Sheets over Wawa.
And he has both? No, he doesn't have
Yes, he
Sheets.
lives in
No,
Florida.
there's-
There's
there's
Wawa's
no
down
Sheets in
there.
Florida.
There's no
he
Sheets,
has
yeah.
to drive 3 states to get to the nearest Sheets.
Tyler, you're still here.
What a
What's your
waste.
favorite fast food convenience store?
Chick-fil-A.
Like a 7-Eleven.
I think QT or Racetrack. Sheets and
Yeah.
Wawa are their competitors.
I would almost say maybe Sheets if I'm back up in Virginia where I grew up, or
All right,
down.
shut your
here.
schmuffin' mouth.
Not Wawa. If that's what you're looking for.
All right. Enough of this. I will donate some money. Get your liver ready. Who else
I
is
Pick a
gonna-
talked-
charity that
talked to
he's
Donnie.
really just
He's-
not going to like.
Yeah.
So it's going to make him upset to have to drink for it.
He's already made a gallon of rum punch and ordered a pizza. So he's actually in preparation for this. He's looking forward to it.
All right, who else has got a story? Oh, I think we might have lost Chris and Chrissy.
We might have. Lemons did their invitation-only Silly Walk race. It was glorious. We talked about it last week. This was the one where you weren't allowed to use the steering wheel or pedals. And the crazier your setup, the better. So there was the Xbox controller on a 12-inch screen on an IKEA table. There was the bicycle that you had to pedal to get speed up and use the brake and the clutch and lean. That was awesome. The winner was Matt Stico. He used a piloting sim controls using the rudder for left and right and a throttle for the throttle and the brake. Eric Hessler battled with Randy Bish almost the entire race first, between second and third place. Finally got past him in the last minutes to take second, and Randy took third. It's actually a great watch. Eric and Phil are in rare form. They go on an entire diatribe about oh God, it was some rocker in the 80s in Pittsburgh.
Donnie Iris.
Donnie Iris.
Donnie Iris.
Donnie
Randy
Iris
was
came
running.
to that.
Randy was running a Donnie Iris themed Volkswagen. It's worth checking out on their YouTube channel. Pop over there and catch it.
So I think Randy also used the same controls in the next race, and he had a 2-pedal setup. So the one pedal was down for brake and up for gas, and then the other pedal was down for left and up for right. So he did it with no hands, but he did technically use pedals.
Honestly, and having worked with Randy now over the last couple of weeks, there's probably a beer in both of his hands.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that was Randy. I know they talked to him. I think that was Randy.
I think Chrissy and I sometimes need to have one of us on the VR doing the steering and the other one of us on the screen doing the brake and gas.
Yeah.
Somebody did that. Somebody did
like
that.
power boats. That'd be
Todd
great.
Burris and Todd Lamb did that back in 2011 at Roebling.
Oh, they actually did it in a car. That's terrifying.
I was there for it.
That's
Because-
terrifying.
Yeah. The only person who was allowed to use traditional controls was not allowed to see the screen.
Yes.
And
yes.
Apparently
somebody
the guy that was
explaining.
doing it was terrible.
Yeah, it was
It was
terrible.
just like, wait,
Was.
oh, wait, turn right now.
No, turn. He didn't say which way. Just turn.
That's how some of us stay employed.
Yeah, they were all left turns. It was an oval track. What do you mean, which way?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything else on this before we move on to listener feedback?
No, we got the E1R
We
race
got
recap.
our iRace recap.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
It's all
No,
green.
that's you,
Jeff.
Jeff.
That's me. Oh, my gosh. I should read ahead. So we had a few extra guests this week, and we took the standard car load out, the Lemons car load out, and we went to Sonoma. And Sonoma was a track that a lot of us hadn't been on. I had literally downloaded the track minutes before we got on, so I didn't even have any practice laps.
I've driven that track in a stock Toyota Prius and a Mini Moke and a Tornado.
Coronado.
Oh, and a
and
Pinto.
a Prius with a Harley engine in it.
I never got on track.
I pushed you around the track.
pushed me
The
around the
paddock
track. That's
in
as
another
close as I
Prius.
Yep. I can tell you though that
Real racing.
the back S's at Sonoma are really good in the Prius when no one's around because you can just flop from bump stop to bump stop really easily and with your foot on the floor, and it just works great.
And yellows are great because it recharges the battery.
Yeah, exactly. You get yellows are great because
In a Prius.
then you get one good lap afterwards, and then you're back to
That's your
Anyway.
flyer.
yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So Lee Merman showed up, and he just won both race 1 and race 2. He was in a Mustang, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
Captain
Mustang.
America Mustang.
he's very good.
So yeah,
He
he's
is.
very good, and that car is very good. I don't know if the Mustang. It's
Can't get it to be very good. He has done something on the setup.
yeah,
that
they
makes
had
it
some
much better
setup
than
going
I do.
on that is
Yeah.
that is
There's
doing
a
really well.
lot of good stuff you can do with that car setup wise.
Well, we need
And
to figure that
quick
out.
hints while you're here.
I've
So,
got
yeah,
a couple
we-
things saved.
Send us a file.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
do that.
Because this guy took all of us by like a lap.
By like 30 seconds. It was crazy. So anyway, so Class B went to Alex Levinson in the TDI, and he and Lamino are doing the are racing together at the Lemons Endurance race, right?
I think so.
Yep. Chris, you were in the Legend car. How'd that work out?
I tried that. I need more time on the setup. It's exciting. The back end comes around real quick, especially in the tight corners. You got to be careful with it. You got to be quick in your reflexes. It's a very short wheelbase. Everything happens immediately. And just getting I spent 15 minutes just trying to take the stagger out of it and try to even it out so it can turn right as well. And that took most of my practice time, is just getting it to turn right. So I need more time in it, but I mean, it's loud, it's fun, it's fast enough. It's like I was pulling times similar to what I was pulling the Mustang, but I'm not very good in the Mustang apparently.
I messed with it at Barber when there was the Legends or the trucks, and I couldn't get it not to be a handful. I think I got it equally handful left and right, but it just snap oversteer was immediate in that thing.
Yeah, I got better with that, but it still requires a bit of a deft touch. I'll put it that way.
All right,
Especially
Tyler,
in
that's
tight
your homework. Join the Lemons Racing. Teach us how to drive the Legends, the asphalt Legends. I don't know.
the
It's one
asphalt
of my
Legends,
favorite
yeah.
cars. That car's great.
Excellent.
On a road track though.
Yeah.
Left and right.
You just
Yeah.
got to get it set up right.
All right.
We're not there yet.
We'll definitely need some.
We're
setup
working on
later.
it.
All right. So the ugly class was out there. Both heats went to Yuri. I was only seconds behind Yuri in the second race. So I'm
tight
like
competition too.
I'm like
That
getting
means he's
better.
terrible. He's terrible too.
No,
You know, that's
it
what
means
I was
I'm
gonna
getting
say.
better. I actually was not a travesty to justice out there. I actually could keep it on the track.
You were not actually dangerous to yourself and those around you.
Exactly. Look, he was in the MX-5. I was in the Solstice, so whatever.
That was the first race, and then he went to the Solstice in the second race.
Oh, he did? Okay, so yeah,
He still
I was.
beat Jeff.
Yeah, he did, but just by a little
Anyway.
bit. So anyway, this is Monday nights. You have to join the E1R Fun League on Monday night. Tyler, I got in trouble for letting an alien in who speaks Spanish and drives a rally car who shall be nameless. Santiago. They said, why is he here to kick all of our ass all the time? So if you join us, I don't know, just use an Etch-a-Sketch or something. Give us a chance.
What's the name? I'm actually pulling it up right now, so I don't forget. What's the name of the series?
So we don't have a series. We just do hosted races. Monday night, 9:00 Eastern. You're Eastern too. And the super secret code is our favorite brake pad, because we don't want people who we don't know joining us.
That's right.
So Mental will shoot you an email and give you the super secret code, but it's 4 letters long, and everybody who listens to the show knows what I'm talking about.
It might be made
It's
by
funny 'cause
Rebestus.
Yeah, I've gotten emails from our listeners going, "Yeah, I know what the password is. What time do you guys start?"
Or which
Where's the
track
Discord?
were you doing? So
yeah, exactly.
the track we choose, depending on what Lemons is going to do on Thursday, we'll do on Monday as kind of a practice, or sometimes we just do whatever, like
Do silly races.
like Circle 8.
Are we
Or-
committing to Friday this week? I want to do.
We're not.
Friday. We're not.
We
We're not
can't.
committing to Friday.
Chrissy and I can't, but
Okay, so only Monday this week coming up.
All right.
well, you guys can
And-
do that. But I still think
Last time it was
Legends-
just us and Mental.
Yeah, Legends
Us,
versus
meaning
Dirt.
Chris and Mental,
Yeah.
because I can't race. I just sat there and looked at
You
you
need
all.
2.
I know.
Legends
got one.
versus Dirt truck. The stadium trucks.
The stadium
at Barber.
trucks, yeah.
I
Have
think
you
we-
guys done the Charlotte Roval in the Pro Trucks?
Not yet.
Oh, yeah. You've got to do that.
So,
Okay.
I was on the Lemons Discord, and it seems that you can get the Beetle and the trucks to refuel if you're not on a dirt track.
Okay.
So we might need to bring the Beetle back, because the Beetle is hilarious. I love the Beetle.
We were on the little dirt track, and 8 laps later, we're out of gas, and I was just sitting there watching the trucks go around. So,
They had a better fuel load.
yeah.
All right, Monday night, join us. Listener feedback. Who's got something?
Hey, our food episode garnered some great feedback. Lee M gave us some positive comments. Craigers also emailed us to say that between him and Chris Lemetica, they have 4 AccuTemp HemoCool freezers they bring to each race. That's the thing I was telling you about, Jeff.
Those
is
blood coolers.
The blood coolers, the ex-Army surplus blood coolers are amazing. Saying that it's also a 2-person lift to get it in and out of the truck. But hey, when you're caring for the best butt in the world, it takes some effort, and it's worth it. So the biggest response was a random Google image of a shredded chicken taco sandwich thing that Mental found to promote. So he's going to have some recipe Googling for our first official 3 p.m. race to find out what that was, because it did look tasty.
I thought it was lobster. But
We've had
try to-
lobster at races. That was
Not, yeah, one. Not like lobster
fun. A
roll.
few.
All right. Our race shirt theme day was a big hit. So thanks for playing. Matt F., which is not shirtless Matt, showed his fairly lame gear. Sean W., shout out, busted out his vintage 3 p.m. shirt, but also his Spank shirt. a shirt that we raced with him together. Dustin B was sporting one of the Miami Vice theme Fat Crack team wear. And while the rest of 3 p.m. got in the spirit as well, Jim and Jeff, Dishwashing Fairy, Hamza all participated. Russell P represented Current Lemons car Cannonball record holder Mike Myers team Tiny Vet. And over on the gram, Steph S and Dr. FM also had the race shirts as well. So thanks for playing along.
Awesome.
So apparently we're going to have a new segment, Thursday theme on the spot. Chrissy, what are we wearing tomorrow?
I even read this and I didn't come up with an answer.
All right, so I gotta wear my flight suit because I'm working tomorrow, but I will totally take my race suit in and we could just do race suit Thursday, and I'll go take a picture in front of my squadron wearing my race suit. I'll go over to the Thunderbirds hangar and take a picture in front of the Thunderbirds wearing my race suit.
I think I have a meeting with the president of the university. Do you think that would look weird?
No.
No.
Chrissy's
Put a tie on. You'll be good.
That's right. Good idea. Good idea.
Right? He likes ties. Chrissy, what?
Yeah, I say, Chrissy, you're shooting a forklift safety video tomorrow, so wearing your race suit to that would be fun. You can't, no.
Not really. No. I have to give it to an important.
You don't have to wear it all day. Just put it, or you know what? Because you guys have important meetings tomorrow, why don't we do best race suit pick and we extend it through the entire weekend? So Monday we get.
That's good. I like that.
Everybody's
can
cool.
find some other time to do it.
Race suit in inappropriate location. I think that's what I'm going to say.
I'm going to an inappropriate location this weekend.
Yeah,
I'm
race suit
do it there.
at an inappropriate location.
That's
what we're doing.
Listeners, wear your race suit someplace weird or someplace unique. Get a picture of it. Throw it up on the Instagram. Throw it on the Facebook.
PG-13, everybody. I didn't mean that kind of inappropriate.
Matt.
Yep. And maintain your social distancing. Your helmet is not a mask.
Special points if you wear your mask. No, it's normal points if you wear your mask under your helmet.
I know I added this late, but I just want to make a call out to the listeners here and try and find out. We have all been participating in sim racing. We're watching. People are watching. I was quite enjoying the race. I did not appear in Lemons, talking and chatting with Eric Rude and company as they did their thing. But we've seen a couple of virtual car shows. Bradley Brownell has been hosting them with Radwood, and I've seen a couple of others. I'm not sure I get it yet. I'm not sure I've been bitten by the bug. I do love car shows, and I really haven't been excited. I want to hear from the listeners. Are virtual car shows a thing? Are you enjoying them? Are you participating or not?
Hasn't the internet kind of always been a virtual car show?
Exactly.
Like, here's a picture of my car.
Instagram is always
and everybody's Instagram. Like, if you go onto our E1R Instagram from the internal, so it's like I could post on it. That's all it is.
It's like here's a picture of my car.
Right.
Oh, here's a picture of my car. Like,
that's the whole point, right?
Right. That's what the internet is for.
But
that
looking
and porn.
at a picture of a well, it's true. Rule 43. But looking at a picture of a car, a stagnant picture, to me it's not evoking anything for me. Like, I loved walking around Radwood. I loved seeing just but when I see the pictures of him, I'm like, oh, it's just an old car. Like, I'm not stirred. And I want to hear from the listeners. Are you stirred? Are you not stirred? I just want to hear, because I'm not sure. Maybe I'm out of the loop.
There's a great article on Haggerty about using Google Maps to go virtual car spotting. And apparently this is becoming a thing where people go to Google Maps and, oh man, check out this sweet 73 El Camino in,
just
New
parked
Mexico.
on the street, like you just like put a pin on it or something.
Is it Pokemon Go for cars?
Right?
Yeah. But if I could
Do you
walk
get points?
around, I think I would do it. Like, I think that's different. You know what I mean? Like, I think I need to see him and smell him and, like, look under the hood.
Weird stuff in Google Maps is an entirely separate rabbit hole if you want to fall down it. You just start searching.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Two-legged cat, no? Have you seen the two-legged cat?
Right.
The guy who falls down?
The guy who falls down, like, homeless guy taking a crap.
The snorkel, the guy with the snorkel.
Exactly. There's so many things. I was on Google Maps for a while in Missoula, Montana. I was fixing a truck in a driveway. Like, I remember the day, and like there's my legs sticking out of this truck. Oh well, they've updated it since.
I'm
then.
sure they've updated since
There's
then.
some really good ones, like people with like they had their the houses TP'd the night before and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There was one, the Stig, the actual Stig, and he's only in one frame. You can't see him approaching or leaving, but it was next to one of the lakes in Scotland. And there was only one frame where the Stig is standing on the side of the road. And then you can't see him. How they did that, I have no idea, but it was only the one spot where the Stig was.
Fantastic.
Somebody was bored.
All right, so hey, once you've decided to climb out of that rabbit hole, tell Jeff, do you like the virtual car show thing?
Yeah, thanks.
There we go.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Are little bears in that
No.
virtual rabbit hole?
Wow.
No?
Look, if it was Little Bears and LS drag race videos, I would be there, but it's not.
Are they driving?
LS Motor Swap videos.
LS Motor Swap videos. I watch them. Yeah.
Okay.
Should.
Good.
Are we doing just a tip?
Sure.
Tyler is still here for just a tip.
Still here.
Tyler, we're gonna get a safety tip from a safety professional. You might be a driving professional, but you are not a safety professional. Chrissy is just the
Tip.
So I fear this is not very exciting. But
It's safety. It's always exciting.
shut up. So
I would run out into a busy intersection full of safety. I would jump into a stranger's van full of safety.
oh my God. Okay. So we're going to talk about
Stick that knife right in the safe electrical socket.
All these you can do anything once, but it's only once.
And I'm going to say I told you that was not safe because like really. Okay. We're going to talk about a safe way to do yard work. So recently I got a pretty serious bug, spider, tick, something rather on my ankle. It was hella itchy. It had a ring around it, and it made me realize that I probably shouldn't be wearing shorts while I do yard work. I did have sneakers on, though. Not safety shoes, but sneakers. So at least it wasn't flip-flops. So it's E1R if it's hot outside, and you really probably should wear long pants. Also, I get poison ivy pretty easily, like if I look at it. So it's easily hidden in the grass, which means it can be on your shoes. When you take your shoes off, it gets on your hands, and then you have it. Because I think I had some on my arm, and also hella itchy, also really bad. So, also, if you're not really interested in PPE, sure, fine. I'm not your employer and your safety manager. But wearing safety
You're not my real mom.
Wearing safety glasses is just a good idea because it really sucks getting dirt, dust, rocks in your eyes. And I'm not taking you to the hospital if you get it. So there are my safety tips. I wanted to open it up to everybody else to see if anybody else had an on-the-spot yard work safety tip.
I don't know if this is a safety tip as much,
Okay.
but if you could find yourself an old actually, no, I'm going to change what I was going to say. I'm going to give a safety tip.
I want to hear what you were going to say
Us
too.
too.
You started
That looks
out
like
with
it was going
bad
somewhere.
No.
Badminton. I was going to say an old badminton racket is the most fun if you have carpenter bees because you can whack the crap out of them. We have been, but that's not my safety tip. That was just a fun tip.
Okay.
Um,
That was a fun tip.
It was a fun tip. Wartburger Aaron actually gave me a safety tip after a show a couple weeks ago where I talked about rescuing a bunch of what the hell is that stuff that you put on the
Ducks.
ground? No, it kills all the weeds and grass and everything.
Roundup?
Roundup. I mentioned that I saved a bunch of Roundup from going into the dumpster because it was a dangerous chemical. And he sent me a very serious message, man. Be careful with that stuff because there's a lot of lawsuits out there. That stuff could cause leukemia, has been proven to show leukemia. So watch your garden chemicals. Watch your dogs and watch you. You should be wearing PPE when you're touching that dangerous stuff.
Fingers up for
Or
Aaron.
just don't use it. Fingers up for Aaron.
Okay.
F camp.
How much Roundup do we have in our driveway?
Only about half a bottle left. So that's good. I'll say I heard earlier when I was down in the basement doing plumbing about the weed whacker conversation. I still have a 2-smoke weed whacker, but it's a really nice steel, and it's easy start. You kind of just pull it a couple times and it preloads the starter, and you just pull it and it starts, and it's great. Always starts. So, but I will say, definitely wear long pants and shoes when weed whacking.
Oh, I don't know how people weed whack in shorts, man. They're nuts.
No. Yeah. Okay.
True.
That's
That's one of those things that you do like one time, and when it corrects the string and it goes right into that nerve that runs down the front of your shin, yeah, you stop doing that. Back when I first joined the Air Force, we did not have yard contractors. So anyone below the rank of sergeant, you were on a rotating duty where you had to mow the lawn at your building, depending on where I was stationed. And my Saturday came up and I had to go mow the lawn. But because I was doing it as an Air Force duty, I had to be in uniform. I was allowed to take my BDU top off and do it in a t-shirt, but I had to have long pants. I was required to have safety goggles, and they have metal tips that you would put over the tops of your boots. We called them the RoboCop shoes. And by this point, I'd been in the Air Force for 3 years. We all mocked this get up, but I didn't want to get in trouble. So I was mowing, and no kidding, had an acorn come out from underneath that lawnmower, right square, dead center of those safety goggles, and
Into your nutsack. No. Sorry, I got excited.
That would have been funny.
Oh, great. We thought they needed to wear a cup while we were wrecking.
My
That
nuts
was not part of the requirements, but okay.
My nuts got hit by a nut, but it hit square in the center of those safety goggles. That was in 1994, and I have never mowed a lawn without eye protection since.
Yeah,
I figured that was my one good
I also
one
do ear
it was
protection when I'm
square. Yeah.
I wear earplugs like every time.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
I mean, there's playing music through them, but they cut out a lot of noise.
The noise canceling headphones.
Yeah.
We were these.
No, not for Jeff. They're actually the FM radio headsets, like from he's got to dial up the station.
God, how old do you think I am? No, they're
Old enough to have no hair.
Yeah. Tyler, do you have a gardening safety tip?
Yeah, hire somebody.
There you go. Chris, what is your favorite tool for drywalling the house?
Checkbook.
Hiring somebody. Tearing it up for the first.
Nothing much better than a checkbook for.
I get my brother to do it, but I try to hire the neighborhood kids, because when I was a kid trying to pay for my racing, I was mowing lawns and everything else. So
I just need to find that kid.
Yeah, we need an ambitious kid in the neighborhood. They're all lazy.
I got signs all over my neighborhood.
Look,
they're in competition.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good. There's hope for this nation yet. As long as
I wouldn't do it if I could find a kid.
Yeah.
That is
we don't have kids. We have young gentlemen who maybe don't speak a ton of English.
Well, we have those too.
If you speak Spanish, that is our crew, because we wife and I have worked with many of the immigrant community for many years. So, she can.
That, and you also smashed her Corvette window mowing the lawn once.
Yeah, it's true.
Actually, you know what? That does give me a tip. Other than hire your local neighborhood kids, my brother and I were chipping some like plastic dummy balls the other day, and I'd be damned if I didn't hear one hit my window when they were mowing it. So pick up all the golf bars and make sure you don't lose one.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
We should have counted before we started knocking them down. Yeah, whatever. Hanging out.
That's enough. I think that's all of them.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. My neighbors golf. They have like a four. They have like a real green and everything in their backyard.
Oh, wow.
They have like 7 different places that they tee off on. So I'm always in search of the golf balls when I mow.
Oh, the mower's going to find them. I guarantee that.
You find them or they find you. It's only a matter of time.
Oh, is there anything else that we have for the good of the order? Tyler, you said you had to leave early and you're still here and you're about to hear the end credits.
Well, thanks for being here. This is awesome.
Really, what ended up happening is I've been able to do a little bit of work here on the side, and then I blew off one of the series that I'm in for iRacing. It'll be my drop. It was at Road Atlanta in GT3 cars, so like there was no reason.
You're like, you need to do this in your sleep.
It was. And you guys are worth it. How about that?
Well, thank you.
Nice.
What's the sponsor on the side of that Mercedes? Because you're talking about your favorite.
Simcraft, of course, the best in the business.
No, I was saying that you had a food sponsor when we were doing the one at Watkins Glen.
He doesn't remember.
I want to say Bojangles or something, because you're like, even afterwards, it's still time to go get some delicious Bojangles or.
It's whatever we're feeling that night, depending on what series or what car we're in.
Yes. So he was simulating having real sponsors and pushing them at every opportunity. It was great.
Well, I do that too, but my sponsor is Diablo Blanco watches. So
And you bought it. They didn't pay you. So,
you know, I don't think Bojangles paid him. I have to reset the music because we're like talking that much. All right, are we ready?
Yeah. Hey,
Thanks,
Tyler.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Tyler.
Thank you.
And for those of you who are listening, thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We'll also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building because the world will reopen and we will be back driving, racing.
beaches are open.
The beaches are open, and we have, in fact, caught a large predator.
Amity means friendship.
Amity means friendship. If you enjoy this podcast, subscribe. It is totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hate us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the digitally shiny side up. Unless you didn't ever get your paints working, then just keep the wheels down.